Thanks for learning this.
I'm sorry, Sam. All right, board members will take your seats, please. Can I get the board members to take your seats, please? Donna to pull the computer up and then we'll take roll. All right, Sam? Yes. Mike? Sid is present. Green Morgan's present. Watkins? Present. Ralph, he's here?
You want me to stay here or you just? No, we got it.
You got your Betty is here?
Yes.
Ray is here. Rob is here. Jan is here. Who else is there? Lydia is here. Okay, so we're one short of a quorum at the moment. So, Pledge of Allegiance. Jerry, you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Sure. Everybody stand. Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, Jared. I think all the items we have on public comment are all for motion items. So, is there any public comment on non-agenda items?
Number 3, right? On the agenda.
Oh, William, I'm very sorry. I was looking at item 3, outreach, so, Bill will give you a microphone wherever Bill's running around here.
Well, I am reading the right agenda, correct?
Yes, I thought you were on item 3, not schedule 3 here.
Okay, I see the podium is over here. So
Yeah, William, just grab that microphone, okay, right here. You want to just grab this microphone right here?
We put that over on the side here so we can hear you.
It's all right. Can you hear me? Turn it on.
on.
You're on.
You're on. I'll try not to be too loud.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Bill, feedback. Yeah. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is William Kuzman. I'm glad to be here tonight, this last meeting of the year for the Neighborhood Council. Everyone is aware that last month the City Council passed the community plan, and contained in the community plan was a new thing called the residential floor area district. It turns out that there's still a lot of problems with this floor area district.
There's still a lot of problems with the floor area district. I'll just speak up, Bill.
Well, part of it seems to be if you stop talking, it turns off.
Put back on the timer.
Don't stop.
So anyway, there
I'll pause for a few seconds.
are a lot of us that are opposed to this RFA district because we feel that the restrictions have gone overboard in comparison to what our neighbors are allowed. So on January 7th, there is a trial setting date at the Stanley Moss Building downtown. On September 16th, I had filed a writ of mandamus to overturn the interim control ordinance for Old Granada Hills, but now there's this other thing with the residential floor area district being included in the community plan, so the writ of mandamus is being modified because originally it was asked that the RFA be removed before the plan was passed, so now we're having to do it after the fact. But I just wanted to let you know that this date was coming up January the 7th because it is pertinent to the community and the community plan. I have asked, though I don't think I'll ever get it, the mayor to veto it because of some of the problems that have come to light regarding this residential floor area district for Old Granada Hills. So that's the comment tonight.
Are you asking?
Ask a qualifying question.
Yeah, are you asking about to overturn the entire plan or just sections of it?
Just the residential floor area district accompanying zoning changes and the interim control ordinance would have to go away as well. So there's three things that have been asked to be removed. Okay.
Does that have a file number for the city?
Yes, it does. I'll be more than happy to send that to you. Or you can go to oldgranadahills.com, click on the No ICO lawsuit, you'll find the documentation right there.
Thank you, William.
Thank you.
Thank you for looking so holiday-ish today.
Oh, Dad, I got 25 ties, one for every day until Christmas.
All right, I don't have anybody from CB12 here. None of the senior leads. Sir, are you representing me? Yes.
I'm just here observing.
Okay, great. I didn't know if you were from one of the legislative offices. I got two people. I'm usually the only one that ties. So. All right, so we'll move on. I'd like a motion to approve the November board minutes as amended.
We have 13 people?
Oh, that's right. Okay, we'll put that on. Bill, you want to give us your EP of the month?
Yeah, well, looking at, like I said, I'm not quite sure what's happening with the sound system for those that benefit, but it seems to be sort of like any time when you stop talking, it wants to wear out. Anyway, I guess you got to really talk real fast. Maybe it'll stay on. Back of the row, it's the Flex Wrap, which is self-adhering bandage. Make sure you pick up one on your way out if you have it on the way in. Also, there's a lot of other extra out there. And I do want to remind everyone that starting January 4th, 2016, we'll be hosting another Community Emergency Response Team class at Norwood Country Club. You sign up online at cert-la.com. It's using Eventbrite for those of you that have used that before. So it is filling up, so I encourage you to apply and get on that program. It's 7 weeks, and there's 2 weeks off for the 2 holidays that happen. January and February. So if you have any questions about that, see me later. There's information on the cert, but unfortunately I forgot to bring the flyers. So this will be your last chance to remember it, so write it down. Thanks.
Thanks, Bill. All right. Moving on to executive committee. Because we do have an ongoing office ad hoc committee, we need to look over the budget, and as near as I can figure, because of the extra $5,000 that was voted by City Council, We will probably need to move approximately $6,000 out of, I think it's between $52,000 and $6,000 out of outreach into operations. And we'll try to get a better handle on that, but if anybody has any ideas on the budget, please share them with me during the month, and we'll bring it to the next executive committee, okay? And Donna, did you want to give a report at all about this? Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, the ad hoc committee met about the office, and because we're getting an additional $5,000 from the city this year, we decided it was not as desperate to start thinking of moving at this point. However, there is a possibility that shopping center is going to be sold. It's on the market right now, and if that happens, our rent could double, in which case we will not be able to keep it. So the committee decided to start making a list of what our next office should look like, what it should contain, what items we want to make sure we have, so we can keep our eyes and ears open, because there's a possibility there's something out there now for less money that we go into that we'd be very happy with. So we made up a list, and we're going to be presenting it to the board at the next meeting. And then we're going to ask some of the wonderful realtors on our council to help us start looking for another place. But like I said, we're not pressed for time at this point. So, any members from the committee have any other comments?
Go ahead, Bill.
I suppose my only comment is that although you propose if the center were to be sold, our rent could double. That's pure speculation, not based on any fact as far as what our rent could be.
Yes, however, I think that it's always a good thing to have in the list, because it is a probability. We don't know if Ricky's going to do some kind of a swap with that or what, but the new landlord might not be as generous as Ricky has been.
I understand. I'm just saying that at this point we can't say the rent could double. Yeah, it could triple and it could be reduced too. So now we're ready to go.
Okay, great. If any of you don't know, Sunday, December 6th is the Granada Hills Holiday Parade, and it is going to be, as usual, on Chatsworth, and I believe it runs at 1:30 it starts. And if you are in a giving mood, also in Warner Center, the morning of the 6th is Motor for Toys, and if any of you like exotic cars, you can go see 200 or 300 of them in Warner Center at the Anthem Blue Cross building, but you need to bring an unwrapped toy for kids. So 2 great events coming up on Sunday. Support the community at the parade. And you want to say anything else about it, Rob? Okay.
I'll be
Good. That's right.
Can we turn it off before, because it's really annoying fading in and out.
Yeah.
Anyway, just saying. I think it's
Okay.
fine.
So Vanessa's here. Hi, Vanessa.
Hello. Sorry.
I'll give this to Al. Okay, so do I have a motion to accept the November board minutes as amended?
We haven't heard the amendment.
There were a couple of typos that people had sent me, and they were corrected.
I have another one.
Except for
You can't
I
change.
can't so.
You cannot change a motion.
It is not. It's an exclamation point at the end of a sentence. It doesn't belong in anything that we produce.
Is it in a motion?
Of course it is.
Then you can't change it. That came from the committee. Which one is it, Bill?
5B. It's indicating, it's the kind of punctuation that implies that we are.
If you can't, I usually copy and paste those. That probably came from the committee.
And it may have been a typo then, it may have been a cut. I'm only suggesting to make our minutes look good.
We can't amend a motion. Okay, that's the way it came from the committee. It should have been brought up at the meeting and ask the committee to do it, or go back to the committee and ask them to change it, and we'll amend it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so who, Ron, you moved, do we have a second? Jan seconds. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, 11. Any opposed? And abstentions? 2. Sid would be, they weren't here. Thanks, everybody. All right, moving on to the treasurer's report. Vanessa, before you came in, I was saying that I did some reviewing on the budget, and with the extra money coming in, it looks like we're going to have to move anywhere from $200,000 to $6,000 out of other areas of the operations. And so we need to see, think about it and bring it to the executive committee. Okay?
What?
I said that it will be covered at the executive board meeting, and hopefully Mike Chipodakis will be there as our financial officer.
Okay, buddy, thank you.
Okay, so roll call for approval of, there was nothing exceptional, it was just our regular operational fees and services and refreshments, so there was nothing exceptional that we did. Any questions, comments, discussion about the?
Anybody?
All right, then I will do a roll call. Okay, thank you. Sam?
Here.
And so yes on the group. Mike Chipodakis absent. Sid Gold?
Yes.
Michael Greenwald?
Yes.
Bill Hopkins?
Yes.
Raheem?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
William? Middleburg? Absent. Betty?
Yes.
Amanda? Ineligible?
She's absent.
And Ray?
Yes.
Rob Sherman?
Yes.
Vanessa, yes. Jan?
Yes.
Jim?
Absent.
Joe?
Yeah.
Victoria?
Absent.
And Donna?
Yes.
Okay. 13 yes, 0 no, and 0 abstain.
And 1 ineligible.
5 absent.
She's absent.
She's absent.
She's out, so you put it in absent?
So she's in
Ah,
the absent part.
Okay.
Yep. So we have 13 board members here tonight. Okay. And that is all my business.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you.
All right, outreach and publicity, is anybody from the committee here?
I am. We didn't have a meeting this last week.
Okay. Planning and land use, Jan?
Yeah, 2 issues. Number 1, the park on the table to public safety. We're going to discuss it. Just be aware that as far as the soccer fields off Balboa, we have a press sheet going out to neighbors, and I'll get back to you next month. We tabled this discussion for 1 month until we find out what the neighbors do.
And how are the neighbors being notified?
They're being notified by the people in writing. It's going to be a service.
Is it going to be mailed? Is it going to
Yes.
be hand delivered?
Yes, mail.
Or do we have anybody that is going to basically go door to door on Woodley?
If
to
they
make sure
need
that
to, I
people
imagine they will.
realize it's not junk mail and what's
Yeah, and this is why it's able to give them a longer period of time. They couldn't do it in 2 weeks. Not sure how.
because I think a lot of stuff comes in mail that a lot of stuff is broken and stuff. And especially the people who live on Woodley, their first 10 or 15 houses or whatever it is, should definitely be.
And it's the end of it, yeah.
Mike, question.
Yes.
Who is they?
The people who are trying to sponsor the change, we're letting them go ahead and send the survey out. We're following up.
The soccer and baseball fields want to put lights in.
Yeah, I know, but it seems odd, they should be the ones canvassing the neighborhood.
No, I think we should be canvassing.
Well, that's what she just said, it was them, that's why I want to understand. Who is going to do the mailing, who's going to be responsible for collecting it, and if door to door, who's going to do that?
And John, I think that we should be the people who send it out.
I'll have a talk with them.
And I think that, we need to see the letter, we need to approve the letter. And
I think that's been done. I'll check on it.
I think that's really important.
Now, if they hired
They want it.
company to write it, they could write the letter, such as.
Okay,
That is-
anything else, Jen?
No.
All right.
Michael,
Yes,
you have CD drive?
I just saw Megan log in.
I'm sure you got that.
I think we'll cover one person here, and then ask Megan to give us a little update. Sid, do you have anything?
No meeting.
Okay. Megan, what's new at the council office? I heard Mitch on John and Ken today, and he did a great job. And he should have turned his hat around because he said it's on county land. Well, I mean, he's running for supervisor or something.
Right.
He should have said, and when I'm elected,
Well, you know,
I think he missed a great opportunity.
I don't think that's a secret. Do you want me to?
Yes.
Just talk loud, the
Yeah,
system
because
is.
No. So, my name is Megan Conyer. I'm in the Defender's office. I kind of just wanted to bring some updates, kind of stemming off of the last neighborhood council meeting. Obviously, as Mr. Greenwald, I'm not sure who else kind of saw the news today, but there's been a situation at the gas company. I think we're on day 40 now, where there has been a leak due to a rupture in one of the wells that stores the gas in the Aliso Canyon storage facility. What the gas company initially thought could be treated within a few days has turned into quite an ordeal, and it looks as if it will be another couple months at least before it gets resolved. So today, 2 Fridays ago, not last Friday, but the Friday before, the councilman introduced a motion to ask the gas company, as well as the regulatory agencies overseeing the gas company, to appear in council, and that's what happens this morning. I was not able to listen to the whole council session, but I think I got the gist of it. Basically, 5 recommendations came out of today's council meeting. One is that the gas company creates a dedicated website as well as ADA and multilingual storefront where people can go in to ask questions and hopefully get answers. The councilman has remarked several times that one of the big problems with this incident was the lack of communication and ongoing lack of clarity in the communication with regard to the issues. And so hopefully these 2 items will address some of that. The other recommendation was the formation of a community advisory committee, which I know the Granada Hills North community is familiar with, as we have one for our Sunshine Canyon landfill in this area, which will meet initially weekly to establish methods of communication to the various agencies in Port Ranch, as well as some of the adjacent agencies, and those will be comprised of stakeholders in the community. A couple hundred people have volunteered to be relocated because of the side effects of the mercaptan, which they're experiencing. There's several hundred others that are on the waiting list. So we know what a problem we have here in this community from break-ins and burglaries. So we've asked LAPD to do additional patrols in the area, but we're also asking, as a result of today's council meeting, that there's a check-in optional checkbox where people can share their information with LAPD so that we know the homes that we need to look out for. And security is obviously a very high concern, especially as we approach holiday season and deliveries and things like that. The councilman asked for information regarding the greenhouse gas emission offsets that would be required to mitigate the excess greenhouse gases caused by the methane in the leak. And he also asked that any fines that are levied against SoCal Gas is dedicated to and stay in the Port Ranch community. So that is kind of my update with the gas company. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I'll do my best to address them.
Has anybody talked about the check with the Granada, those areas are very big?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, so that's, I was glad to be here tonight, and that's why I wanted to share this information, is we recognize that it goes beyond Port Ranch, and there have been some phone calls from people in Granada Hills who are experiencing this. So also, I should say tomorrow night is the Port Ranch Neighborhood Council meeting at 6 o'clock. They'll be meeting at a different location. It's the church is in Christ Community Church on the southeast corner of Corbin and Rinaldi. The gas company will be making a presentation there, as well as many of the regulatory agencies. I think there's about, and electeds and things like that. I think there's about 15. So if you would like to attend, we certainly encourage you to. I'm sure there'll be some additional information that will be shared at tomorrow's meeting.
Sid? Yeah, maybe, but how is this committee, oversight committee from the advisory committee going to be selected, and will the neighborhood council have a chance to nominate some members of this committee?
I don't know about the Granada Hills North Neighborhood Council. I do know that the Port Ranch Neighborhood Council is going to, we're deferring to that neighborhood council as they're obviously the most impacted. But if the Granada Hills now Neighborhood Council would like to participate, I can certainly bring that recommendation back to the council.
Ralph?
Tomorrow is 6 p.m.
6?
Yes, and it's going to be a long one, so I would anticipate. I know that there's going to be questions, public comments, and then there will also be kind of an open house with the regulatory agencies after.
Also, one thing that I didn't hear you mention was Mitch made a very strong pitch to the gas company also that none of the expenses, all the expenses that were dedicated here, including bringing in this rig from, I don't know where they had to bring it in from, but all the expenses be tabulated and none of them passed on to gas company customers. It all comes out of basically the stockholders.
Absolutely, yes, thank you for that. I neglected to say that, but it was.
Mitch sounded like he had all the bases covered on that.
Yeah, our team's been working really hard to address this issue and address the concerns that the community has. So, we continue to work on it, and we've been posting updates in our weekly e-newsletter, and we'll continue to do so. But you're also welcome to call our office if you have any questions. I think we're also going to be providing some information on who to call if you have questions, whether it's a regulatory agency or the gas company itself.
When is the first meeting of our next agenda item here, Melvin meeting?
Yes, the O'Melveny Park meeting, I believe, is December 9th in the evening. I don't remember the time off the top of my head, but at 6 p.m. Yes, and I know that we will be addressing some of the issues that were brought forth at the last neighborhood council there. I don't have a ton of information, but I do know that, that I think Recreation and Parks understands that certain events are certainly outside of the capacity for that facility. So there has been a history of children recreating in that park, and we want to be fair, but we want to, be right by the community as well. So I think that's what we're working through.
No, we understand that.
Where's the meeting?
I don't know. It's probably going to be at Valley Region Park headquarters, and I'm not sure that it's open to everyone. I think it's kind of working group. Yeah.
The information I have is that 10500.
Got the numbers right.
Yeah, the numbers right. I just forgot the nation I think it is.
I'm sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head. I just know the date, and again, that it's a working group meeting. So we'll bring updates to the neighborhood council.
Well, that's not the one.
Pardon?
It's not, I don't believe that's the one that Megan's referring to.
Oh, okay.
The only other thing I wanted to talk about really quick, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to update you before, Mike, but I know at the last neighborhood council meeting there was a question about 1700 Rinaldi and the jet out. and the call for projects. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The area of the gas station that we looked at to widen Granada. So
To widen Balboa.
To widen Balboa, yes, I'm sorry. So that was a project that was funded and called for projects. However, the amount of money that we had to do the project was significantly underfunded. And we did not have the resources to purchase that land for fair market value. Even if the 76 owner wanted to sell it to us at a discount, the city can't do that. We have to sell it for the appraised value. One of the considerations in that appraisal was that in order to do that, the 76 owner would have to remove one of the pumps, and the city had to reimburse them for that. With the proposal at hand, with the removal of the pump, it's something we could certainly revisit if the neighborhood council would like to. And what I would suggest is whomever's working on that from the planning and land use side, I can connect them with Hannah in our office. She was the lead on the call for projects.
Yeah, because, I mean, that would help the traffic in Balboa significantly.
Well, and the project was already awarded once, so we do have, I don't know that the 76 project has come to our office yet. So we could certainly talk about putting it forward again if it makes sense. Perhaps the land would be less expensive if we didn't need to buy removal of the pumps. So should I work with you? Yes.
Well, plus, he wants something. It's not just we want something. So I think
Steve is always like
both parties, and I think it'd make a good thing for him in the community.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was we would have loved to have been able to come to an agreement. It's just we couldn't make the numbers work last time around. If it's something we can revisit, we'd be happy to.
Maybe it was.
Well, somebody needs to look around because there's still $80,000 floating around from the federal grant to put in the signal at Norwood Plaza that we got from the federal government in 1982. And then there was another bunch of money that we got in the early 90s that's somewhere in this city also. So there's some extra Balboa money floating around in the city. So I know it's probably been...
Yeah, it was like several hundred thousands of dollars short, I will say. I don't know the exact amount, but it was, significantly.
Well,
but that's a good point, and I never like to let money float around, so I will be happy to share that with you.
Yes, Ralph.
Would that also require widening at the point where the state has something?
I don't know that it would, like I said, I don't think that the plans have come through our office yet. I'm not sure if he wanted to approach the neighborhood council first before he decided to spend the money on getting an expediter. We haven't seen the project, but I can assure you that if there's any state requirements, we would make sure that they were addressed.
Megan, is Balboa a city street or state highway?
I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's
a
a highway,
by the city.
Yeah, but I don't know.
So maybe we ought to be looking at Caltrans for the money to widen.
The call for projects is like a federally funded program that many agencies go through, and that's how it was funded initially. Caltrans, I think, is an applicant in that as well. It's not just the city.
I'd love to see this, check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, when you sit there for 10 or 15 minutes and you watch all the dodging that happens, it's amazing.
No,
Is there a permanent accident?
Yeah. No, it was awarded, so that's great. Unfortunately, we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into when we wrote the grant, but now that we do, we can definitely relook at it. You've got wonderful planning and land use people on your neighborhood council.
Without a doubt, the best. This way.
Sorry.
Question for me. Why wouldn't this qualify for the Sunshine Canyon Memphis Fund? It's a positive thing. It would improve all our lives if that traffic got down there. You have the money because I know before you had like $5 million in the fund. So you got plenty of money in that fund that they could easily, take care of buying that portion in order to improve it. Improve all our lives. And what is that money supposed to be used for? To help all of us.
Yeah, and it's certainly something that can be considered.
Sunshine Canyon Memphis Fund. Mitch has control of it.
Anything else for Megan? Yes, go ahead, Sid.
One of what's Mitch's position on the mobility plan?
Can't hear you, Sid.
Sid asked about the mobility plan.
Opinion about the mobility plan for Los Angeles?
Yes, I know the mobility plan was recalled the other day in council. I would say the council member's position is that the mobility plan is a plan and pie in the sky at that. You know, I think there's a lot of moving parts, and I don't think he's come out one way or another, but that there are a lot of things that would need to be worked out with at the community and the neighborhood council level before they were able to.
This is from Mike Greenwald, citizen, okay? I think the mobility plan is a bunch of people trying to tell us that we need to change our lives and ride bikes and not ride cars. And I mean, they've cut Reseda Boulevard down, and it's impossible to get down Reseda now. And we just don't take Reseda anymore. And so they're killing the businesses.
So the Reseda Boulevard project did not cut down any lanes of traffic, and bike lanes were already in existence. There was a little bit of removal of parking for that project.
Well,
just so everyone knows. And one of the projects was to pedestrianize the community a little bit, to do some economic revitalization. So we're working very closely with the businesses in that area. We have an event actually on Saturday. I should have invited all of you to attend that Saturday from 10 to 2, where we'll be doing a holiday bazaar with the businesses. It's a walking boutique. It's our third of four events that we're putting on as part of some integrated economic plan in that area. So that's,
well, they took away lanes on Wilbur.
Don't get me started.
I mean, we just keep going.
The result of that was Councilman Englander introducing a motion that said DOT had to come to you guys before they made any modifications like that again. That should not. I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but that was not done appropriately.
We appreciate it.
Yes, no problem. Thank you, guys.
All right, public safety.
Turned it off.
Turn it off.
Okay. Okay, public safety. The only thing we have is motion. Can we read that? Okay, public safety has a motion that the Granada Hills North Neighborhood Council support the current recreation and parks policy of no organized athletic activities in Melbourne Park. Any comment?
Okay, I've got 3 speaker cards, and we'll start with Jim.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Graves from the Northwood Pacers. Basically, my comment is that I spoke to the Department of Recreation and Parks, and as they have told me in previous conversations, there is no actual policy regarding organized events or athletic events at O'Melton Park. I spoke to Mark Gross today. He told me that there was no policy. And Mark Gross then called his supervisor, Steve Klein. He said there was no policy. And I also spoke to Charles Springer today, who said there was no policy. I think you might be referring to some comments that Steve Klein made sort of off the cuff at the last council meeting. And I think what he was saying was that things were kind of on hold in terms of permits until we were able to sit down and work the situation out. The work group starts next week. I'll be part of that group. And I think that's where the determination is going to be made about how the park will be utilized. So there's actually no policy that's a written policy in terms of the Melbourne Park for you to support or not support. Thank you.
And again, I think that's exactly where the motion came from. He was speaking as representative of Recreation Park, and he did make that exact comment. And that's what the committee took and worked with.
As a policy.
Jim?
So a couple comments about, I think it was Steve Klein that was at the last meeting, that it was. He didn't say anything about no organized sports activities. All he said was we are no longer issuing permits. That was the only comment that he made. I asked him, and he said, well, we can't stop anybody from running there. And those were the comments separate that he said, that they can't stop anybody from running there, and they're just not issuing permits at this time. Nothing about organized sports activities. That was the comment that he made. I'm sure we could get part of the camera feed that was there because it was in front of the news cameras. At the executive committee meeting, when you came by, it wasn't much of a meeting the other day, you had made a comment that the park was dedicated as a passive park. Okay, well, we've got, that's basically a deed restriction. Okay, we've been getting permits to run there from the Park and Rec for over 30 years now. We've got the 2005 neighborhood council, or the neighborhood plan that, references sporting, various sporting activities. Okay, so you can defeat a deed restriction with open and notorious use for, I believe it's a period of 5 years. Okay, we've got 30 plus years, nobody ever came back to us, so it's kind of a moot point. The deed restriction is gone just by our open and notorious use, so it no longer exists. And that's because you brought that up last time about that as one of the reasons we couldn't have organized sports activities there, but I think that's off the table. And that's my comments.
And are you a lawyer, Jim?
Nope. Okay. But I have a degree in real estate.
Just ask.
You know what he said? The real estate 101 is
You're
heard that
quoting
exactly.
law, so,
You know what he said? Real estate 101 at any college has heard that.
As
We know
realtors, we know a lot.
And what to do. Gotta know somehow to be able to do that.
Yeah, I gave you guys a handout. I'll read it. Northridge Paces, who attended our last meeting, were given an opportunity to speak by the GHNNC's president, even though the agendized item was not taken under consideration since it was a moot point, in that the Recreation and Parks Department, along with the agreement of Council District 12, agreed that, quote, no more permits would be issued for Amalfi Park. Other people who wished to speak on the subject were not given an opportunity to speak or present, as our president sought to clear what were unsafe and untenable conditions. All of this resulted in a one-sided impression of what had occurred at Amalfi being given to the NC Council members, and allowed the Pacers to pander to TV and press coverage that their politically well-connected members had arranged. And so I put a series of bullets. By the way, you all know me. This is one page. You know I don't like one page ever. Okay, so this is the short form of what I really had to say. The only record that I could find the last 5 years to pull a permit or two was for a large gathering. There was no record of training sessions ever being permitted at Amalfi. The recent permit that was issued, it covered a period of 35 days, and that was October and just into early November. And during 17 of those days that were utilized by them and other organizations such as the Chatsworth Chiefs and East Valley, we saw over 3,000 runners and errands. Their numbers, not mine. They didn't all go cross-country running. Instead, they set up courses, including barricades, which took over the main entrance roadway from the parking lot up to the ranch house / restroom / picnic area, forcing the public to step aside and get out of the way, and when challenged, refused to say who was in charge. They used a portion of the horse bridle trail and ran through the grapefruit orchard, which was being restored. The use of bullhorns to direct runners also disturbed the peace and quiet of the houses that back up onto the parking area of the park. And their repeated use of the grass area to the north of the ranch house destroyed the grass, and you've got those colored pictures. And the first one shows you what it looks like. The second picture showed you what the rest of the area, what it looked like before they started running. So they destroyed part of our park. Okay, the posted information, which has been on the bulletin board for years, states that illegal and nuisance sports activities should be reported to the park ranger. There's a picture I took of it. It's not very clear, but I put a little asterisk on there and you can see what it's saying. By the way, Wikipedia states that cross-country running is a sport, period, you know. So It's not even being allowed there, but they've been able to get away with it. Okay? After being asked by RMP personnel to leave after closing hours, okay, there's a sundown to sunrise, it's a city ordinance, the park's closed. They were asked to leave. They refused to leave, and subsequently refused to move barricades from the fire road access area. The road was supposed to be kept open, and when asked to move them, they didn't. How did they deal with these official requests? Okay, they used a Porter Ranch law firm to do a FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act, back in early October on the RMP person who was doing their job, and then stood here in front of all of us posturing about how they didn't know who this guy was and what his duties were. Yes, you do. They have 10 days to respond to a FOIA, and that was written on the 7th, so there was plenty of time. You guys knew what you were talking about. Okay, they denigrated and maligned this RMP person for doing his job. We all heard them say, who is this guy that gets cheap rent, gets to live in the park because we would like his job? The occupancy of the ranch house by RMP personnel was a condition asked for by the community in restoring it, so that the person would be able to monitor the facilities and who had the authority to call police and rangers if it was necessary. This person is the one who's worked diligently with our community to buy, install, and even monitors the video cameras on a daily basis in our Melbourne parking area to eliminate what was weekly break-ins of cars. We were getting it. It actually dropped to 0 after we put the things in, but this guy still monitors. He's being able to catch people, okay, because we've got them in there. This is the guy that does it, nobody else. He also monitors the cameras in the Bee Canyon playground area, helping to keep your children safe and prevent crime. This person was instrumental in getting trails and bridges restored, and for having self-locking/opening restroom doors installed to prevent vandalism, okay, which had been occurring there. He also opens and closes the parking lot and goes around at night trying to clear the park and make sure that nobody has their car locked in after dark. Okay? And do you ever wonder where they were practicing before? Because they weren't here. I'm telling you they weren't. And why are now suddenly turning up now? They were the Sepulveda Dam recreation area where they were permitted by RMP for their cross-country training. But they were kicked out for, quote, breaking the rules. The Sepulveda Wildlife Steering Committee went after them for going into protected areas, that's like the wetlands and the other areas in there, that they were not permitted to. We all sat here, okay, and we heard the RMP representative. Well, we all know he wasn't very good at what he was doing because he'd just been thrown into it. But nonetheless, the RMP representative said that the Hanson Dam recreational area, which is already approved for 5 and 10K runs, will be made available. Okay, and that some other areas, okay, and I think maybe it was Chatsworth Reservoir that we're talking about.
Nope.
That's kind of what I heard.
Nope, that's a no. Just in case.
I'm just telling you.
That's not. That was never proposed.
We're not up for question at this point in time. I'm telling you what I have heard. This is my information. I'm giving you what I have. Okay. I said Chatsworth Reservoir maybe. Okay. So why are they here? To force us, upon us, their misguided efforts to convert or use a park which was dedicated as a nature/wilderness area to be turned into a sports park for their convenience. Okay? For their convenience. And when I went through and I looked at these, like I said, in the permits, you know, to have over 3,000, do you realize what it's like in 17 days to have that many people? The parking lot gets filled up. They come in buses. This is organized sports. And all we asked for was, hey, neighborhood council, cut us some slack here, give us some help, and say, hey, stop this kind of, because suddenly it started, okay? And regardless of what they say, yeah, they've been there a few times, they got away with it, okay? But they have. And I also put in the thing that if you looked, and I said when I took the picture, that, hey, for years, that stuff was being posted in there that says it's illegal. Illegal and nuisance sports activities, report to the rangers. We couldn't get a ranger. We begged for a ranger because we had a lot of crime up there. There was a lot of crime going on, a lot of vandalism. We begged that you can't have a ranger. So this was our compromise. We fixed up the ranch house in order to be able to have somebody from Rec and Parks be there so that they could monitor the activities during the, and make sure that somebody was there if things went wrong. That's why they're there. And they knew it. So I'm asking you to support the motion, whether or not you want to amend it as far as the word is going. I don't know. It seemed to be slightly different from the first one we had, because what we asked for was a letter to support, okay, Rec Park and the 12th Council District's decision to not issue any more permits. That's what the original one was. The language has been slightly changed, so I wouldn't care if you modified it, but I still think we don't need sports activities in our park. Thank you.
Both of my children were in cross-country, high school. We as committee members here in the community, we wax eloquently about the crime we see in the neighborhoods. We talk about what's happening to the youth, what's going on. And we see somebody like Amanda here, we're like, wow, there's hope. I can just tell you, the cross-country, my experience was cross-country, both in the state of California, because my kids came out here to compete against the California cross-country schools, is these teenagers and young people have the most character and respect and cooperation. And so my struggle is they've set aside a working group right now. They've set aside a working group. And we as a committee, as a council, wants to come out here and say, we want to come out in opposition to this. I'm saying, give them a chance. If you work with the cross-country leadership, I have found, I'm not talking about I was in it for 5 months, I was in it for 5 years. If you work with them, you will find that they are a cooperative group, and they will work with the kids, and you're going to have some grass that gets, and grass will regrow because they're not there every single day. So my position on this is we're still premature as a council. We've got a working group. Give the working group a chance to work through this thing. But what was described in this, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Because that's not the cross-country that I've ever seen in multiple states that I've been to.
Well, I'll talk to that. I have been in the park. I walked in the park. I was told to get off the place where I was walking because there were runners coming out. They weren't polite. I asked for who was in charge, and nobody would let me know. That's a different story than you're giving me.
Oh, Rob, they're not going to run you over. They're not going to. You're in
I'm
the way.
sorry.
Whoa. Ralph's making a comment. That's it. Anybody else? That's it.
Yeah, I'm a little disturbed about the action of this council. This is pretty strong language and pretty. I wasn't at the last meeting, so I can't speak about what transpired there. But to say we're going to close off this park to teenagers who are developing their athletic skills seems to be a little premature. I would like to hear more before we come to a decision. I think there's areas of compromise that we can have here.
Actually, Sid, I don't think the motion calls for that. The motion just says to support recreation and parks. And I would consider, I would like to table the motion until the working group gets going. And we actually have, more information. I remember the gentleman saying exactly what was put here. No organized events. That was an exact quote from him. But that poor guy was like a deer in the headlights. I don't think he had a lot of public speaking, I think he was kind of thrown into the woods then, and so I felt very sorry for the guy. That would be my suggestion is that we now are going to get a working group, and I think that we ought to just table the motion and bring it back to working in conjunction and supporting whatever the working group comes up with. My personal opinion. Go ahead, Sid.
Is it an opinion or a motion?
Because I'm the president, I don't really think
I'll make the motion to table.
I'll second.
There's no discussion except when it should be tabled or why it should or should not be tabled.
Any discussion? All in favor of tabling the motion until the working group gets started?
I've got one comment. Could we hear from the chair of the committee on why they did what they did?
We just heard the
No.
commissioner.
That was a public comment.
No, from Wade Bentley.
Were you on that committee?
Sorry.
No,
The committee that made this decision?
What decision?
The committee that prepared the motion?
No, I'm not on that
Okay, so
Where
let's
it
hear.
comes in is he
What's that?
testified before the committee, and he agreed to act as the speaker
For the committee.
for the committee.
Well, how many members do you have on the committee?
Well, first of all, Joe, it doesn't matter how many members.
I just-
We're talking about tabling a motion, okay? So,
You haven't passed a motion yet.
no, I said
That's
we're
something-
talking
Yeah.
tabling.
Okay.
Do you have any problem with tabling?
Yes.
Well,
Anyway, I'm gonna call the question for, all in favor of tabling this until the working group has more specifics for the council to make a decision on. All in favor?
Could I ask a question about what the working group is that you're referring to?
There is a working group being put together by CB12
And recreation.
Could you-
parks.
and recreation and parks.
Wait, could you elaborate?
Yeah, so the working group, can everyone hear me okay? It's comprised of members of the neighborhood council. I believe there's also a representative from, I think, the Audubon Society, and several members of the cross-country teams, both LAUSD as well as Ms. Graves mentioned that she was.
Is a person living in the park going to be participating?
No, I don't believe he is. Steve Klein, who was the gentleman who was here last month, is organizing the working group. He's responsible for municipal sports in the Valley region. So the activities would fall under his purview.
Okay, all in favor?
I had a comment.
Go ahead.
It's on the table.
This is about tabling.
Yeah, I don't think we should table it. I think we should go ahead with the motion. From what it sounds like to me, it sounds like this committee, of whom we do not know the participants, may be stacked. We have how many from the neighborhood council, how many from the other entrant, how many from the running groups. There could be 7 or 8 from everybody that wants to run there, compared to 2 or 3 that maybe not have a different opinion. I don't think there's a balance to it because we don't know who's in it.
Yeah, I don't recall the exact balance. I think the total committee members are maybe 6 or 7. I don't know. And, we looked for representatives from groups like the Audubon Society to kind of balance out some of the passive uses of the park.
But do you have one representative from the running group or one representative from each running group, for
No,
example?
it's not one from each running group, but the running...
Schools, that counts?
I believe there's that's what I believe. I think there's 3 in total from cross-country.
Anyway, since we don't have it, and the purpose of the meeting of this motion was simply to indicate our support for the current policy.
There is no policy. How can you
I'm
vote to
speaking-
support something?
Jim, first of all, you're really rude while Wade was
Sorry about
speaking, both of you. Okay? So, please. That's fine, that's Bill's comment. So, we have a motion to table it until the next meeting or until the working group comes up with a policy. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any abstentions? No. Okay, that motion passes. All right. Anything else for public safety? Emergency preparedness?
In view of the holidays, we're canceling our meeting, so you'll have 1 extra day to shop for EP supplies and gifts.
You know what?
And I do have a list back there, by the way, of suggested items, so.
Do you, Bill? I think that's, I gotta tell you, I don't think there's a better gift you can give people than preparedness products that they're not gonna go out and buy themselves. I think that's a great idea. You can save somebody's life. My God, I mean, it's better than a sweater or anything else that you can buy somebody. So, I think that's great.
It's such a stretch.
Bill and Jim, when are we having an election committee meeting?
Well, it's got to come up in about 2 weeks. Tonight, there was a meeting from Dunn, and I missed that one, but on December 7th, there'll be one in Port Reds. So we'll do that, and we should have one around 2 weeks.
Good deal. So let's get on that, because otherwise we're gonna be up against it. Because time's moving really fast. Committee comment on non-agenda items. Jan? Amanda? Vanessa?
No.
Donna?
Yes. I got an email from the captain over at Station 18, and he wanted to thank the council for the donation. They just got their treadmill, and it's installed, and they are enjoying it immensely, and they said a million thanks to the council.
Now, is there like a deal where we get credit for their running? You know, like, I can lose a few pounds while they're running. Okay, Betty? And Bill?
I just wanted to follow up with Donna's comment, is that in case any of you are wondering, we approved that many months ago. The reason it took this long is because we, for whatever reason, did not pay for the shipping, and so they had to arrange for the fire department to go down and pick it up. And given schedule, that takes a bit of effort. So we saved a lot of money for our shipping, but we delayed getting it because they had to arrange to have somebody go get it. Plus, it wasn't ready when it was supposed to be.
Okay. Any comment, Bill, other than that?
Other than, you know, the yellow sheet is the one that on the front of it, it says suggested items for your 72-hour grab-and-go kit, or it goes by various names. But the back of it is the gift ideas, and there's a whole bunch of them. Give it some serious thought, especially for the ones that you can't figure what to get, or that you always get the same thing, just in a different color. You'd be surprised, because they don't think of it. They're easy to put together. You don't have to go out and buy the $100 pre-made kit. You can make one yourself, put it in a box. It can be stashed, get it in a small backpack, fanny pack, whatever pack. You'd be amazed how well that goes. And you can buy a lot of that stuff at the 99-cent store in Costco and places like that.
Thanks, Bill. Jim?
To now to piggyback on Donna's comment, I just want to say, in a non-political way, you're welcome to the fire department. Apparently running is very important for a person's health.
Found out. Sam? Ron? Ray?
Just happy holidays to everybody.
Ralph?
No comment.
Joe? Sid? Raheem? Okay, from me, I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas, wonderful holiday. I want to thank the board for being here. I want to thank the board for everything you've done this year, and look forward to a very successful year next year. And please, March 31st is the drop dead. Drop dead. Anything that we're going to spend money on, I want it by March 31st to bring to the May 1st meeting. Okay? So we can get it to executive committee and get it to the May 1st meeting. All right? So we can get the money done and not up against the wall. In fact, I'll tell you what, I want it by March 15th because I'll take it. Yeah. Okay. March 15th. If we're going to do anything, but SPGs, neighborhood improvements, please give me any ideas by March 15th so we can vote on them and see which ones we're going to go ahead. And everybody have the best. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you all support. Thank you. And thanks everybody for coming. Oh, I think we're adjourned. remaining time.
Bill, were you here earlier? This table was over there and in the room. Stay following me.
Not anymore.
I'm sorry, what?